afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET Now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. This is a show where we get you a countdown of the stocks, the movers and shakers today in trade. The markets, meantime, powering ahead, no doubt. Great gains witnessed today on the Nifty and the Sensex. In fact, we've surpassed the 10,900 mark, 10,930, and we are perched at the day's high for the benchmark indices. The broader markets, look at the way the small cap index has actually surged, a 3.2% uptick. This is, I think, one of the biggest intraday moves we witnessed in the small cap index, at least in the recent times. The mid cap index too is higher by a decent 2%. But let's first introduce then our technical experts who are going to be joining in. We have Manav Chopra of India Bulls Ventures, as well as Mr. N.S. Fidai joining in on the show to give us a technical heads up. And then we also joined by Siddharth Bhamri as well as Soumya Sharma. So good afternoon to all of you. Thanks so much for joining in. And of course, the stock of the day has got to be Tata Motors. What a massive up move witnessed over there. In fact, the entire auto pack today is powering ahead in trade. And it's a couple of reasons really for Tata Motors to show this kind of an up move. And first up, it's going to be, of course, the JLR sale numbers. Very, very encouraging, especially in the United States. Both the brands have posted very strong growth. So that is, I think, giving some boost to the stock price of Tata Motors. And of course, not to mention, this morning we had news with respect to the rejig in the Tata Sun structure that is in the works. Manav, let's get in your opinion on this massive move witnessed in Tata Motors. It's making its way towards 200.
Yes, see, if you're looking on the top, that has been percent.
Okay, I think there seems to be a bit of a technical problem connecting with Manav. But yeah, Manav essentially is saying that he does have a bullish stance. In fact, he is watching out for a target of 220 rupees when it comes to Tata Motors. Okay, next up we have Tech Mahindra is a stock in focus because technology stocks in general today have been weak, whether it's whether it's the large cap or the mid cap names. Mr. Fadia, what would be your take on Tech Mahindra?
Right. And the stock is actually in a long-term momentum upside. I would be bullish on it and buy on dips rather than go short right now. So there is a opportunity that you can buy, sell here and buy at 770 and keep the stock 750 and 750.
Okay. Unfortunately, we'll just have to go back and check that connection as well. But Mr. Fidai is saying that you should consider buying this on dips. He's watching out for a target of 770 rupees on Tech M and a stop loss at 762 rupees. So he's not that worried about this dip that you are seeing in Tech Mahindra today. And here's an ET Now exclusive. Gati Limited, the stock price today is in action. This after sources tell my colleague Viveka here that the promoters of Gati are looking to sell the entire stake to TVS Logistics. Vivek, what are your sources suggesting?
Well, this particular news or this particular deal has been in the works for quite some time. In fact, a little over last year, we had actually understood that the promoters of Gati were looking to sell their stake. They hold almost a 24% stake, and there were a couple of interested bidders as far as the promoter stake in Gati was concerned. What we are picking up from our sources is that TVS Logistics has won the race as far as picking up the promoter stake in Gati is concerned. In fact, they are looking to pick the entire promoter stake, and TVS Logistics, what we understand from our sources, has also gone ahead and told a couple of other large shareholders that they are willing to pick up their stake in the company as well. We also understand that the deal pricing is at a significant premium to the current market price of the company, and TVS Logistics is looking to go ahead and end this particular deal within the next couple of weeks itself. Why does it make sense for TVS Logistics to go ahead and pick Gati? TVS Logistics, one of India's largest logistics service, mainly focused in the other parts of the country, while if you're talking about Gati's strong presence in the south is something that is going to go ahead and complement TVS Logistics. So in case if you're talking about Gati, this particular deal was something that was a bit of an overhang as far as the stock price was concerned, and if this particular deal does go through, this particular overhang will go away, and you could expect some amount of re-rating as far as Gati is concerned.
Alright, the next stock we are talking about is Equitas. Siddharth, what are you observing here?
Well, this stock is doing pretty well for its third consecutive day of gains. We are seeing formation of long position Mubina, and we were talking about that how 123 would be a trend line breakout level when stock was around 121 in previous edition of Fatafat, and stock has breached that trend line level, and now it's poised for probably for further upside, probably not just today because it's already up by 6.5-7%, but long formation indicates that long way to go for stock.
Alright, Equitas is higher by a little over 6%. Eicher Motors, meantime, this certainly is a stock in focus. The February motorcycle sales have come down 14% on a year-on-year basis to a little over 62,600 units being sold by the motorcycle major. Royal Enfield sales have any which ways been slightly weakish for the last couple of months. February as well has been no exception. It's a double-digit decline witnessed on a year-on-year basis, and it's come in below the ET Now poll as well. But take a look at the way the stock has bounced and how it's more than 21,300. It's perched at the day's high. So while in the earlier part of the day it was losing a little over 1%, right now the stock price is surging, and how, like I said, at the day's high. So that's Eicher Motors, and in fact in general the auto stocks have been showing a trend that has shown significant acceleration in gains, especially in the last couple of minutes. Samya, what is the observation in a Steel Authority?
Well, as far as Steel Authority is concerned, the stock, after gaining by over 8% on Friday, has resumed the up move today as well. It's up by more than 5%. Well, this is on back of a positive brokerage note by JP Morgan, wherein they upgraded the stock from neutral to overweight with a target price of 78 per share. Well, they say that this upgrade is on favorable risk reward, and then they expect the steel prices to go up from here.
Alright, close to 5% higher for SAIL, making its way towards 55. Mr. Fidai, let's talk about the Nifty IT. We flagged off Tech Mahindra earlier. In general today, like I said, the IT space is one of the worst performers, despite the fact that the market has been showing a lot of strength. So what would you make of the way the index is moving?
Nifty IT actually is in a long-term upside, and it needs a breakout above 16,400 probably. But right now one can buy on dips around 15,620 and keep a probably a stop loss just 50 points below at 15,570 or somewhere. And if it crosses 16,200, there will be lots of momentum in the stock, and it can even zoom up to 1650 or 16. You can even expect 16,900 also on this index. But that
that's the observation.
Is a positional opinion here.
Alright, that's the observation coming in from Mr. Fidai on the IT index. Sadbhav, BEML today, good buying scene over there.
Well, again, this is one stock, Movina, which is showing decent upside, 4.5-5%. In fact, the way mid-cap stocks are going up today, 4% is an average move in today's trading session. High volumes and formation of long positions make it a good candidate to move towards its previous resistance of 930, and if it moves above 930, then probably you can see a substantial upside.
Okay, more than 4% higher today in BEML, and of course it's flagging off for certain levels over there. Aavas Financiers, meantime, this stock is perched at its all-time high. Of course, it's a new listing, listed only a couple of months ago, but there's been very, very steady moves, and especially in the last couple of days, we've seen quite a spike come by. Yesterday, on Friday, we did see some fund action as well. Matthews International Funds has bought more than 4 lakh shares in this one at 1,070 rupees per share. On the other side of the transaction was Amundi Funds, which sold around 4.5 lakh shares. And remember, like I said, the stock price is already perched at a record high, 1,110 rupees. Manav, let's talk about Jindal Stainless meantime. Quite an uptick witnessed in this one. And of course, not to mention, we have the fact that stainless steel prices as well have been very strong. So that too is giving this one quite a helping hand.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, the prices have witnessed a fresh breakout today on the daily charts after the short-term consolidation, and the volumes are also indicating a very sharp up move coming forward in the near-term perspective. With a weekly breakout in its place, I expect the prices to test the levels of 190 on the upside, and one can maintain a buy on dips approach.
Alright, so Manav does have a bullish stance on Jindal Stainless. Jindal Stainless as well as JSL both are rallying. Okay, Mr. Fidai, let's talk about Z Entertainment then. We've been seeing a lot of pricing action come by in this stock price today, however, not really participating in the rally witnessed in the benchmarks. What would you make of this decline?
I believe this stock is now facing strong resistance around 480 and 500 zone, or you can say up to 510. So if somebody wants to go short around this area and keep a strict stop loss above 514, And on the downside, if it breaks below 470, the stock can drop very sharply to even 410 rupees. So, right now I'm not bullish on it. Rather, I would be bearish on this stock.
All right, that's the entertainment. Another stock that's not participating in the uptick is Mahanagar Gas. Soumya, what's the news here?
Well, as far as what the report suggests, Shell is looking to sell their stake in Mahanagar Gas, and they're planning to exit the city gas distribution business. Well, they're wanting to focus on other businesses as far as India is concerned. Well, last year also, the company had offloaded approximately 24% of its shareholding in 2 tranches in open market through bulk deals.
Okay, so that's Mahanagar Gas down a little over 2%. Manav, OMCs today are all abuzz in trade. HPCL, what's the observation here?
So the prices have reached its falling trend line drawn from its recent peak and has confirmed a good reversal formation. If you see on the chart perspective, the breakout has also accompanied by good volumes, and it's a complete trend reversal, at least from the daily perspective. One can expect the immediate targets of 280 on the upside and has an important support at 245, 235 on the lower side. So overall, one should maintain a bullish stance in it and maintain a buy on dips approach.
Okay, so Manav does have a bullish stance on an HPCL, which is already high by 5.5%. Siddharth, what are you observing in REC PFC?
Well, today most of the financial names are doing well, so these two are not exceptions, and strong correlations now the way prices of REC and PFC moves. Both are by around 5% or so. More volumes and more long positions seen in REC Limited compared to PFC, but even in PFC, volumes and rise in open interest are quite high. So both stocks are doing well, adding long positions, and for both the names, moving our resistances are far away from current levels.
All right. Manav, Reliance Naval, while of course the ADAG pack is being written off by a lot of people, still for the few hands that do change in Reliance Naval, it's just become an 11 rupee stock, and of course given the magnificent move seen today, what should those few investors, how should they rather treat this up move?
See, in fact, the prices have been in a very big long-term downtrend, and oftenly in the past we've seen this stock bounce from its oversold levels, and eventually then it acts like a dead cat bounce. So even at the current zone, I don't recommend one going long into this. In fact, this is a stock that one should definitely avoid. It has series of resistance around the levels of 12 and 13, and I don't see the stock breaching that on the upside. So it's a completely avoid from my side.
Okay, so it's a clear-cut avoid from Manav. We'll do one thing, we'll take a quick breather right here on the countdown of the top stocks and movers and shakers. This is Market Fatafat. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET. Now let's continue with the countdown then, and Mr. Fadia, let's talk about the move that we are witnessing in Dr. Reddy's. Today the stock price is losing, and it's one of the few losers on the Nifty. So what would you make of this non-participation by the pharma major?
I would not touch it right now. I would rather prefer to buy it about 27.10. If it crosses 27.10.
Okay, unfortunately we're having a bit of an audio problem with Mr. Fadia, but just to tell you what his recommendation is for the benefit of our viewers, he has a buy above 2,710 rupees for quick momentum. He is watching out for a target of 2,850 rupees. That's the strategy by Mr. Fadia on Dr. Reddy's. So SML Isuzu as well today among the auto majors is seeing a lot of traction.
Well, yes, and the stock has been gaining sharply and is up by over 6%. Well, it is extending its gain for the second consecutive day. Even on Friday, the stock was up by over 20%. Well, this is on back of strong February sales. They reported the total sales at 1,282 units versus 965 units year-on-year basis. Well, this is a gain of 33% growth in Feb 2019 sales.
Okay, so that's SML Isuzu for you. Siddharth, we were talking about OMCs, HPCL, Manav is bullish. What about BPCL?
BPCL has been outperforming, and irrespective of where crude oil prices are moving, and a lot of people are talking about high crude oil prices, but BPCL seem to be an integrated player, and stock is outperforming. What we have observed that since last 2 months, stock was in a range, and there is a breakout of a triangular pattern on BPCL which has positive implications. To back that, there are some formation of long positions in futures. So all in all, within OMC basket, or I would say within the oil and gas basket, this name is showing a lot of signs of strength.
Moving on, Manav, let's talk about HCC. Then this stock as well is seeing some pricing action today, but you have an avoid. What's the reason?
The prices have been in a big long-term downtrend, and overall it has been a complete underperformer. Yes, the prices are seeing some sort of a bounce from its oversold levels, but a series of resistance around 14 and 15 are very crucial, and the prices have not been able to breach that. In fact, there are a lot of short-term distributive patterns which are also indicating that it's ideal to exit the stock at the higher level. So since the trend is on the downside, I will definitely recommend to avoid this stock.
Right, so that's HCC, higher by niche 7%, though of course Manav has an avoid. Ashoka Buildcon, this one has been declared the lowest bidder for a Rail Vikas contract, so it's an L1 bidder with a quoted value of 443 crore rupees, and it's a 36-month completion period for the project. The stock price has gone up almost 7% on the back of that. Mr. Fidai, let's talk about ONGC. Again, it's a stock that we've been seeing a lot of action in, an upward momentum seen over there. What would be your recommendation here?
I am bullish on ONGC. Actually, it has given a breakout of a very strong, bullish pattern, and the stock looks all set to go to 160 or even 164 in the extreme short term. So, one may buy right now and keep a stop loss below 148.
Okay, so that's ONGC for you. Soumya Midhani, there's some news flow there.
Well, yes, the stock has been buzzing after it informed the exchanges that they've secured an order worth over 475 crores. Well, post this order, the cumulative order booking during FY 18 and 19 would stand at about 1800 crore rupees. Well, the stock has been gaining sharply and is up by over 12% on the back of this news flow.
All right, so that's Midhani for you. Siddharth, Arvind Limited, it's another day of an up move here.
Well, yeah, and it's a very important day, though, yesterday or last trading session, it went up by 10%. But, people generally keep asking, there should be follow-up buying. And today is the day when Arvind is showing follow-up buying. Now, all this is happening after a bullish hammer pattern formed few trading session back. So, technically, the stock is poised for a decent upside. Now, there were a lot of short positions which didn't get rolled over in Arvind, and there are some which are already standing in it. But last two trading sessions, Movina has not been on short covering. It has been on formation of long position, and that's the reason that confident that probably the stock prices have made a strong bottom and stock is moving higher.
All right, so that's Arvind Limited, follow-up buying seen over there. Manav Sadbhav Engineering too is seeing a massive up move over here. What would you recommend?
The prices have seen a very good bounce from its deep oversold levels and indicates 200 to be a very important support on the lower side. Moreover, there has been a price and volume breakout witnessed on the daily and the weekly charts. I sense on the immediate basis this momentum is likely to continue on the upside, and one can expect levels of 270 to be achieved. On the lower side, 215 is an important support, and one should definitely maintain a buy on dips approach.
Okay, so that's Sadbhav Engineering, 7.7% higher. Som Distilleries, meantime, as well, is a big mover today in trade. This after promoter J.K. Arora has bought a 4% stake, well, approximately 4% stake, and with that, his stake in the company has increased from 20.1% to 24.06%. So, Som Distilleries certainly is a stock we are flagging off as a big mover. Mr. Fidai, let's talk about ICICI Bank. You have a buy over here. What are the levels you're watching out for?
Well, if it dips, then I would buy on 347, but right now it seems like it is not in the move to dip, so you should buy about 360 for a quick target of around 366 and 380 also is quite possible on this stock, and the stock above 385, 388 will go into a lifetime high zone. So I would advise the investors or traders to hold the stock for a very long term also.
All right, so that's ICICI Bank, and Mr. Fidai certainly is very, very optimistic on this one. Soumya, important drug approval for Wockhardt?
Well, yes, and in fact, it's all a happy news for the company. It's received US FDA approval for its generic prostate cancer tablet. Well, this is a generic version of Johnson & Johnson Zytiga. Well, the company will be launching the product in US in a short time, and this drug will be manufactured at a contract facility, manufacturing facility based near Hyderabad.
Okay, so that's work hard for you. Siddharth, Canfin Homes as well, big buzzer today in trade.
Well, most of these financial names are doing great, Mubina, and we did see, Canfin Home Finance reaching that resistance of 275 and moving higher. There is an immediate resistance again at 295-300 zone, and if that resistance goes by, and in all likelihood that would happen because we are seeing a lot of high volumes in cash market, formation of long positions, and if that resistance of 295-300 goes where actually 200 DMA also lies, then probably we are talking about further upside for this name.
Alright, so more than 4% of gains coming in for a Canfin Homes. Finally, Bharat Forge, big loser earlier in the day, but I think it caught on with the entire rally that we witnessed in auto names in the subsequent part of the trading session. And take a look at the way it has actually rebound from the lows of 506 rupees on open. This is after Donald Trump had decided to end India's preferential trade treatment. So Bharat Forge today is a stock that is in focus. Well, with that, we're out of time, and in fact, we're out of stocks as well. So first up, Manav as well as Mr. Fatai, thanks so much for joining in and giving your recommendations on individual stocks. Soumya and Siddharth to you as well. We'll wrap it up. Coming up next is Closing Trades.